Some of you may know, but others may not know, that Nissan had issues with their headlights for the Altimas, the fifth generation Altimas, which was the 2013 through, I believe, the 2018 model years. I have a 2013 model, and, well, I have the headlight. The problem with the headlight is that over time, the low beam would become not as reflective, and as a result, the brightness of the headlight would dim to a point where you really couldn't see much. And I see a lot of people still driving with these headlights and whatnot. What I did was to buy replacement headlights, and I installed them myself, and it was a fairly easy process. It took about maybe 2 or so hours for me to remove everything to get to the headlights and then put everything back together. Eventually, a class action lawsuit was opened, and I did file my claim for the class action lawsuit. And as a result, I got the money back that I spent for purchasing the headlights. That said, this video will be to go and disassemble this headlight. I have the driver and passenger. This is the driver, by the way. But disassemble the headlight and see why the output of the headlight looks dim. So this is what the headlight currently looks like. It does have some oxidation on there, and those scratches right there are from I don't know what, because the bumper doesn't touch right there, so I'm not sure. They may have been something that happened after I took the headlights out of the vehicle. But as you see, I have both. This is the driver, and that one is the passenger, and I have them both out of the vehicle. The new ones are on. They are working excelente, and so we'll go ahead and try to take this apart. May have to do it the brutal way, may have to do it the easy way, but it's coming apart today. Got the lens assembly out. There you go. Of course, the headlight was destroyed in the process. I didn't follow the typical instructions of heating it up. Just like, hey, we got a saw on hand. Cut it in half. So now, to see what's going on inside of here, by taking the screws off of here. Disassembled, that is the lens that goes on the outside. This is the cutoff that gives you that line across the top. And this is the inside of that reflective housing, which, as you see, there is 2 distinctive white marks and a bunch of rusting on the sides there. And this is why the light pattern was not as good as it should be. And this is why if you see an older Altima from that generation, especially those that were in the 2013 years when the new redesign had just came out, that they have dim headlights. This would be the reason why. It looks like this on the inside. That said, you would need to get new replacement headlights, or you could do like I do and try to just buy the reflector, but you're better off just buying the whole assembly instead of just a reflector. Now, the biggest question I have, and it's more of a rhetorical question, is why does the rest of the reflective material not have the brownness like this one does on the inside? And you could probably argue that, hey, you don't use the high beams that much because this is where the high beam would go. So that's why it doesn't brown out as much, because it's not exposed to as much heat, unless it's the heat from the sun, which I could say, okay, whereas this is the low beam and it would get heat from the light bulb, unless you only drove in the daytime. Now, as I mentioned, I already replaced the headlights on my car, replaced both driver and passenger. The kit, not the kit, the housings, like the entire assembly for both driver and passenger at the time that I did the replacement was about $200, and it took me about 2 hours to do it. So if you really factor that in today's, which is 2024 cost, it'll probably run you about $600 to maybe even $700 to get that done, and to get the lights and to take it to a shop. If you were to do the lights yourself, you probably would spend about $250 to $300. That said, if you have an older, between 2013 and 2018 Nissan Altima, specifically more so the ones before 2016, when this really became a problem, and your headlights are very dim, or you've been driving around with your high beams on all the time, one, please stop driving with your high beams on all the time, and two, get you another pair of headlights and get those things installed so you stop blinding oncoming drivers, especially those that are driving in the city. As always, if you have comments or questions about this, drop those down below. Thank you for watching this video. See you in the next one.